All right, I'm not gonna do that same thing again where I pretend to be interrupted. We're gonna go, hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Grand Theft Auto 5 on the CSJG.
I'm Bobo the Vulture.
So this is kind of amusing. I texted you, and you don't have any way of knowing this now. I texted you probably around like 45, 50 minutes ago to say, hey,
JG, I have to stop you there.
okay,
No reason I have to stop you there. You did say in the brief intermission between videos
uh,
that you were going to use this. You were going to use this story to deal with some of the missions,
yeah, no, yeah, no, you're right. I'm padding out the.
just to prevent
I meant, no, I do mean
you
to.
occasionally are self-conscious about that when you catch yourself having a monologue in front of a map screen.
All
I
right,
figured.
yeah, you're telling me. Well, as long as this, because we might have to. This is a recurring annoyance with these Epsilon missions. Um, the next Epsilon mission doesn't usually trigger because the game I think is trying to simulate a bit of like the real passage of time. So we probably have to sleep for a couple of days before the next Epsilon mission will trigger. So we'll still talk through that. Well, no, it's
Epsilon.
also
It's
it's
narcolepsilon.
well, it's strangers and freaks missions. Like the idea is you meet these weird side things and you do them along the way. Like I don't know that the
Yeah,
game
and then
designers meant for you to like, all right, we're going to speed run through the Epsilon missions. Like they're supposed to pop up intermittently
yes.
throughout the main story.
The idea is it's with the strangers and freaks. It's usually like you intervene in their life in some way, and then they
Right.
come back later and say, "Wow, I've really turned my life around since
Right.
beat up those guys that were, taking my money or whatever."
Since you flew that plane and we didn't really tell you why you did it and got chased by cops, our lives have really improved, etc., etc. And even though this means I will probably end up losing it, I want to drive up there in the Epsilon mobile because it clearly is the baby
Yeah.
blue Epsilon mobile.
All right. So,
So we're in the Ocelot.
um,
Yeah. So I had texted you, and you don't. Well, I had meant to text you. That's part of the story. I had texted you. I had an appointment this morning with the chiropractor because I had these neck pains that were not going away around the beginning of the year, and I went to see a chiropractor, and they went away like after one treatment. But they talked me into hanging around and coming back every week for like like 2 months, and then eventually they got to, all right, if you're not having any more symptoms at all, you should come back once a month just to maintain good spine health. And it's not prohibitively expensive. And I'm almost doing it as a like, hey, if I spend money on things that aren't going to matter if my cancer suddenly comes back, it's like I'm mentally already acting like I'm going to live, and that's probably a good mindset. So I'm like, sure, I'll do long-term health stuff because, yeah, I don't want to have arthritis when I'm 50. So I completely forgot. Now that it's only once a month, I completely forgot that it was today, and we had already arranged to get together, and I had already arranged to have like a another medical thing. So I texted you and this other medical. So I had to text them, and they sent me a notice last night after their office was closed. Hey, you've got an appointment in the morning, and like if you can't if you need to cancel, do it within 20 with 24 hours notice, or you'll be charged. And I pointed out to them before, like, yeah, but you send an automated text less than 24 hours before the appointment. And they say, yeah, the automated system that sends it also puts that message in about canceling. Like, as long as you give us, like, an hour's notice, we're fine. And I was like, cool. So I texted them and canceled, and I got texted back, would you like to reschedule? And I texted back, I'm not sure. Hold on. Yeah, let's not worry about that
yeah,
right
like, well,
now.
I'll get back to you.
I'll get back to you. Then I ended up accidentally sending them a text that said, uh, blood draw over. I'll be there. I'll be ready in less than 10 minutes, which was supposed to go to you. So like they're texting me like, what?
What?
And I'm like, and I'm looking at,
Mysterious JG interrupted the scheduling.
and I'm seeing this text and like seeing the like preview and like the first line of the text, while flying the plane and talking to you about Maizen or whatever. And I'm like, why are they texting me? I told them. And then I'm like, oh, because I just told them I'd be there in 10 minutes. And they're like, what the fuck? So, isn't it funny how these miscommunications happen in life? Yeah. Also, my healthcare company, which doesn't cover chiropractic, it's the same one that's like, oh yeah, we'll cover your treatment, but we're not going to cover diagnostics to see if you need treatment, because that's just throwing money away.
Well, plus, what if they find out you need treatment? We're going to
Yeah,
have to cover
we'll have
that.
to cover that. No way. It's much too late for that. It's much too late to text those
me,
guys
your game audio is low enough that I'm not really hearing it very well. But there must be a fire or police response or something going on right now outside on the nearby highway, so it seems apropos enough.
It's much too late for goodbye. Here's Kiflom's trailer of truth and something.
Oh, this is the Jesus trailer?
Come on, you've discovered great things.
Oh, by the way, I only found out, like, sometimes they don't hit you over the head with it, which I think it's not. It's fine. It's good. It's like little Easter eggs. But like, there are characters in this game who are actually characters from earlier games appearing again. Like, you know, the annoying like love fist manager guy shows up in San Andreas, etc., etc. This is a lady that Nico meets in a Stranger's Mission in GTA 4, which is set several years before GTA 5, but not so far
she's
before.
The one that was going to move back west?
Yes,
because
yes,
the
this is
druggie
her.
that yes.
And like you remember her more clearly than I do because you've seen those videos more recently. But I was reading about these missions, and it's like I just clicked on this character for whatever reason, and it's like, oh, it's like they don't really tell you that. There's no point where she says, "I met a guy from New York once. He really helped me." Like, no, it's just the same character name, and I kind of appreciate they don't beat you over the head with it. They do have. So you finished Balagay Tony, right?
Yes.
You know how we don't actually kill Rocco? Like, he seems to me to be like the real main villain because the story's halfway over before they introduce the Russian villain. Yeah, he shows up in this game, and it's just like he's there. He's like a minor bad guy in this game. I won't tell you what happens with that because he's not a big part of the story. But I was like, wait, Rocco's here? Like, again, why didn't we kill Rocco in the game where Rocco was the main villain?
Brother, father, you now know we're not alone.
And you've discovered the importance of higher being.
It's like Blofeld dying in the pre-credit sequence of a Bond movie that wasn't about Blofeld, which happened in one of the Bond movies.
Celebrities like me, as people to worship and guide you to truth.
Mm-hmm.
Here, this is your medal for your achievements so far.
You know, flying that one plane,
Chris,
wearing those clothes.
Very happy with you.
Indeed I am happy, Zondar. You have achieved great things. But it is as a blink of the eye. Unless you achieve more, you shall not survive the apocalypse.
Chris has spoken.
Kiflam, Zondar, you're nearly a true thesis. Your antithesis is almost quelled.
Oh, it was so great.
I'm very reasonably priced, too.
Wow. Well, my antithesis.
It's easy. Just bring a small donation to Chris at the Epsilon Center in the city.
But first, you must wear your medal and your attire and run 5 miles through the desert.
I guess I'm glad I kept the attire on. I didn't think I needed to.
Kiflam.
Kiflam, baby.
Oh, Kiflam, dude.
Oh, so that would have been a great way for the mission to commence. It's just got run over by the truck that they all decided to leave in. So you got to go cruise in the deserts like
Big Show and the Undertaker, exactly.
Yeah. Well, and I think this is why I thought when you were telling me about this that it was going to be like 2 hours, is because you told me you were going to wander through a desert. I thought this was going to be their homage to Desert Bus.
No, we just have to wander through the desert for 5 minutes. And it says we are in the Epsilon...
5 miles.
5 miles, yeah. We're in the Epsilon homage zone, so, like, I don't think it's marked on the map. But, presumably if we go too far...
Your Epsilon spookometer will go
well, yeah, like, I'm hoping that we'll get some kind of in-game indication.
Kiflam.
Switching to other characters. Not going to be kosher right now. Getting in and out of cars, probably not kosher. So yeah, this is the mission where I was like anticipating maybe needing a little
Yes.
Vulture clan assistance because I think we're just supposed to run around for, a long ass time in the desert.
Well, maybe you could set up some traps up here to capture rare animals alive.
Mom, Kif, Mom, Kif, Mom.
I do figure I could at least set up a campsite and maybe restore my Deadeye meter, which I never
You
use.
could.
This came up talking to Zerfall the other day. Metagel is a finite resource in Mass Effect 2. Like, literally, there is no way to get more Metagel if you run out. I don't know why the game's designed that way. Mass Effect 1 wasn't. Mass Effect 3 wasn't. But in Mass Effect 2, you can run out of Metagel. Which is why it's important to just die when Metagel could have saved you.
Still need to finish. I still need to finish Mass Effect 3. I have no idea.
But the Reapers win.
I mean, the Reavers might win. I have no idea whether or not the war assets that you're building will. I have no idea what color of explosion they'll
I was
provide.
about to say, I didn't know that you hadn't finished Mass Effect 3. I won't tell you what color explosions we got. I will tell you that the end of the final video of Mass Effect 3 on my channel, which is uploaded several years ago at this point, I said, well, I mean, I might come back and do another video where I show the other endings. I haven't really decided yet, so I guess, stay tuned. And that was a couple years ago, so...
Kiflam.
I have mulled, there's a couple of games I've mulled over replaying, and one of them would just be going through Mass Effect again as, like, FemShep. Who's good. Like, FemShep is actually really good. She's just not as good as BroShep.
Yeah. I was going to say, I was reading earlier today that the Xbox 360 live store will be going offline for good at the end of this month.
And I'm a king, like everyone else.
I heard that somewhere.
Each man is a god.
Each
man is free.
So, like, DLCs and shit that you bought are still...
They're still there. You just won't be able to obtain anything.
Because I
that
recently
you didn't
went...
already get.
I had thought about, and it's still a thing I might do. I gave you 10 years and you didn't get a chance to pick Fallout 3 back up, so I might do Fallout 3. So I did get the Mothership Zeta DLC, because it was the only one I didn't already have. The price did not go down, because why would it? And I picked it up just in case I ever play the game, even though it is considered to be probably the worst of the DLCs.
Mom.
Yeah. What was I going to say? I was thinking about trying to revisit that or picking up Fallout 4. But now everybody's apparently playing Fallout 4 because it's the last numbered sort of non-perma online installment of the series since the TV
Fallout
series happened that I haven't watched, but that no knock on it. I barely watched any TV.
Yeah.
I think this morning I watched a couple of episodes of Star Trek Lower Decks, which I hadn't seen since the first season, and I think the series is about to end. But
you're pretty well caught up on the non-scary Mikey and JJ's. Did I tell you? So I told our sister this. I don't know if I told you about my experiences trying to figure out a show to watch with Papa the Vulture when I go down to visit. Oh no, we're outside of the zone.
Oh, what?
Oh, I hope that didn't reset us.
Reset?
Yeah, it reset us. Okay. So that's the thing.
So
like,
I think you just need to.
I think we reset here. I think I need to run in circles.
I think you need to just run around in a circle like Curly.
So we were at 1 mile, but now I'm like legitimately did that reset us? Because like as soon as it told me about it, yeah, I think you're right. I think it's reset. These missions are supposed to be annoying.
Walking?
These are supposed to be annoying. So let's run around until we get a message saying we're at point 1, and then I guess we'll just go around to this whole... Yep, we hit reset.
I like the idea that Kiflam would, like a voice from the heavens would come down and say, "You have left the Kiflam zone. Your pilgrimage has been reset."
Oh, but something is hostile. Maybe an animal. Yeah, no, there was a little red blip, which means I think there was a hostile
like
animal today.
Cougar or something.
Yeah, and that's.
Say I'm not present. That's because I'm in a million dimensions at once. Kiflam. Kiflam.
But that's a thing. Like I have died in this game, not often, but it's happened because I. Let's actually get to some place that's kind of in the middle of the desert.
Kiflam.
Like I don't want to be running around. Because we probably want to find some place actually that's populated and run around there. Because I have been killed by cougars in this game before. If you get out like in the mountains, yeah. What the hell was I saying? Yeah, but okay, so
about trying to
get
TV
a show to watch. Yeah, because you go and if you come into town and visit Papa the Vulture and like Grandma the Vulture, who is the wife of Papa the Vulture, even though you would think that would be the parent of Papa the Vulture. Grandma the Vulture is like it is not an option to come visit the town where you and Bean and the gang live, and like it is not an option to come and like stay at a hotel. I'm going to go and I'm going to stay at their house, but that means that I'm at the house of Papa the Vulture, who's really like weird and territorial about the television, and you have to sit down and watch something, or you're being antisocial. But if you suggest something to watch, he's not going to want to watch it if it's not his idea. And it's just this weird, awkward thing. So I'm always looking for a series like, all right, let's just pick a show that we'd both like. And then I don't have to think of like 4 movies to watch over the course of a weekend. It'll just be like, all right, let's watch another episode of, whatever. We all watched The Crown on Netflix. That was good. it had some time. And before I sort of gave up on suggesting TV shows, because he surprised me, he suggested the live-action Cowboy Bebop show. And it was like, okay, I was not expecting him to be interested in that, but he suggested it. So I'll watch it with him. And it was fun. I liked it. Anime fans shat all over it for not being exactly like the anime. Yeah. And people who weren't into anime...
Don't know how you're going to do that.
I don't know. And then people who weren't into anime at all probably weren't that into it. So, yeah, it didn't get renewed. But Papa the Vulture and I liked it. And was disappointed that it didn't come back.
Oh, I figured he was going to be not into it.
No, he liked it. It was his idea, and he liked it. Then there was, like, another similar, like, weird out-there fantasy show that, like, Sister the Vulture suggested. And he watched, like, one episode and was like, that was bullshit, like garbage. Why the hell I'll never watch that again. So that's kind of typical, right? So every so often I'll suggest a show, like actually fairly frequently I would suggest a show and he's already watched it, because they watch a lot more TV than I do, because they don't watch any YouTube crap. I'm not saying I'm like better or more sophisticated. I'm like, no, there's a different amount of garbage that I watch that they don't, so they're focused entirely on watching new series. But then because he ended up watching some of The Witcher and didn't even wait for me to finish watching which parts of The Witcher he decided to watch. And then I saw the Fallout show. I heard about it and I was like, this is getting really good reviews. I'm going to, like, I actually texted him and been like, I've been hearing about this show Fallout. It's based on a video game, but it sounds like it might actually be pretty fun. And he's like, and he texted me back, yeah, I've heard about that too. I've heard good things. I'll hold off and we won't watch that until you're here. So then the next time I come to visit, I was like, well, he's like, well, what do we want to watch? And I was like, well, we had watched the first 2 seasons of Mayor of Kingstown. There's a 3rd season. We could start watching that. And he's like, well, we could watch a movie. And I was like, yeah. And I'd mentioned Fallout. And he's like, oh, no, I already watched Fallout. I watched the first episode. I'll never get that time back. So I hadn't seen it yet. And he's already told me, oh, this show's bullshit.
Hey, I'm self-actualized.
But then the point of the story, for anyone who doesn't already know our dad, was the next thing he said, which was, yeah, I'll never get that time back. It was just so derivative. And I was like, the Fallout show was derivative. Okay. Like, it's not the first thing ever about the post-apocalypse. It's not the first comedy about the post-apocalypse. But it seemed like a weird, critique to have. And he said, so we started watching some other, I guess we watched Mayor Kingstown, which is on the Paramount, so it has ads for CBS stuff. And they ran an ad for, it was literally, I don't remember the name of the show, I should have looked it up, but it's Criminal Minds something. It was like Criminal Minds and then another word in a different font under it, because it's a new series set in the Criminal Minds universe, featuring most of the cast of the original Criminal Minds. Although I think like one of the main stars isn't coming back. So this is on, and this is like 5 minutes after he got done calling Fallout derivative, and he's like, "Oh, that looks really good. I'm looking forward to seeing that." It was like Criminal Minds, like Special Victims Unit. This. So I feel bad making fun of it. Like, this is a conversation we probably shouldn't be having on YouTube, but it's like, to me, it's like, oh, it's such a generational thing. It's like, I want to watch my body's on a table drama.
Is it Criminal Minds Evolution?
I think it is. Yeah, I think it's Criminal Minds Evolution. Did you make that up as a joke, or is that really a show?
No, I Googled.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
underneath, Google will now give you, common questions people ask. One of them being, where can I watch Criminal Minds Season 17?
Yeah. So, like, I love our dad to death. He's an incredible guy, but like his TV habits, I don't get. I do not get. Other than the fact that I really just don't recommend things to him anymore because it never works. I think it doesn't have, like, is Mandy Patinkin in Criminal Minds, or was that a different show?
I don't remember. I haven't.
Yeah.
Like, even like, and I lived in that house with them. Well, I mean, I'm sure the same number of years as you did, but like, more on a long-term basis, long enough where I was like, yeah, just. I eventually got to the point where I just basically.
It ain't a cult. It ain't a cult.
He was starting to lose his stride a little bit. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry. He's got a mean stride. But I just added those like, I'm just not really into the genre of crime, of crime programming. Sorry, and
you got mad.
At some point beyond that, they're just like, well, okay, he's not going to watch the shows we want to see. I'm really not into the genre of dead body show where like in the like pre-credit sequence, something is that like just people are going about their day and then all of a sudden corpse and then.
Well, that's NCIS specifically, but yeah, they're all like that, and that's why like Criminal Minds isn't like NCIS. NCIS had this like dark-haired goth girl who was kind of zany and cute, and Criminal Minds has a blonde-haired girl who's like super zany, but she's heavyset. So it's and they both kind of work in the lab and are like a bit sheltered from the real world, so they're totally different. And when you say they're not going to like the shows we like, that's pulling in Vulture Grandma, and I don't know how much she wants to watch fucking Criminal Minds Evolution, to be perfectly honest.
It's a mystery.
It is a mystery. We do not know.
Who's pulling those chains?
Was she like?
Or we can't see them anyways.
There's some shows that she like, but that's the thing. Like, and I don't blame him for not trying to find, like, always trying to make sure she enjoys everything, because like I have tried to find something that I thought that she would like, and she will just open up a book of Sudoku and start working on them and not even give it a try. Like, it's it's just okay. She doesn't need to be engaged with the television at all.
Yes, she doesn't have that same,
But you'll see her like, she will pick up and pay attention to a like, it's like a historical drama that doesn't have sex and violence. Like, it's an actual real, it's like Game of Thrones. Like The Crown. Yeah, she will actually pay attention.
Yeah. And maybe not like, well, I mean, maybe, but maybe not like, Papa Vulture likes a war film, and Grandma Vulture maybe not so much.
Right.
There's like one or two, like I felt like I wanted to see 1917, and Bean was like, well, have fun with that, I guess. I don't understand the whole thing with war films. I'm like, well, okay.
It's a pretty important part of history, but okay. Yeah. I think it's a difference between watching a war film and watching, like, Michael Bay's war film.
Yeah, well, that was Christopher Nolan, but like same idea of like, it's gonna be big, like the audio is going to be mixed very heavily toward like the sound effects versus dialogue.
Right.
and to the point where you can't friggin' follow it without subtitles. Giflom.
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 Giflom. Giflom.
If you're gonna need another one for this episode, Kiflomorama.
I think we're gonna need another video. Like the intention was we'd get to doing stuff.
We
for
get
your
this
channel.
done easily, and
I think. Well, it's kind of it suits my purposes. It wasn't my plan. Like now, okay, I'm uploading 3 videos a weekend. So like this will just be a whole weekend stuff. I won't have to like okay after we've done Bloodstained, I'll have to find a little time to do a solo GT. No, this is it. This will be it. We call it a video now and finish our walk here. We'll be done.
Yeah.
Maybe next time we'll talk about something
well,
other
you're 2.5
than Vulture.
miles. How many did you need?
We need 5.
7?
I think it was 5.
Oh.
So I think I'll call it a video. And when we come back next time, guys, maybe we'll talk about what our sister likes to watch on television. You don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that. So come back next time.
Bye-bye.